Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, can you give me a thumbs up in the comment section? There was a bit of a wobble just before I came on. Hi, Novi. Hi, Lee M. Oh, great. That's fine. Hi, Lottie. How you doing? How's your week be going? I hope you're all good. Hi, Norma. Hello. Hello. A lot going on. A lot going on. We have two videos today. And this is the first one. And I hope you're doing well. Hi, Novi. How are you doing? Good to see you. Hi, Kathy. How you keeping? Good to see you all. Good to see you all. It's kicking off from all directions. It's kicking off from all directions. Okay, guys, let's begin because I have a lot of information to share with you guys today. Um, the invisible contract between the media, the royal family, and the government has never been as blindingly obvious as it is right now. I mean, even if you're one person who doesn't necessarily pay attention to the behind the scenes, behind the media articles shenanigans, you would be blind, deaf, and dumb not to recognize the goings on at the moment, you'll be blind and deaf and dumb not to recognize how all these entities are working together for their own good as well. And that's what we're here to talk about today. Okay. So, first off, we've got a ghostwriter, Kate Middleton, excited about next stage of her landmark project. But guess what? It doesn't signal a return to work. If you've been following the train of events since Prince Harry and Meghan's mega successful trip to Nigeria, you will notice that since they returned from Nigeria, the royals have all rushed out in droves, trying to do one thing or the other, even competing against themselves for the headline. To that end, I'm realizing that the calls for an explanation to Kate's whereabouts were getting louder. It is my theory that the royal family has carefully planted stories of a phantom Kate doing work behind the scenes, especially when we were hearing more and more about Rose Hanbury. Have you noticed that we're not hearing about Rose Hanbury anymore? But it seemed like she was gradually creeping into the headlines. There was one innocent looking article, and then another one, and then we had Richard Eden writing cheeky stories with cheeky headlines, and then all of a sudden, everything has scattered into the wind again. So it seems to me that that was their attempt to soft launch her. And then they thought, I don't know what they're thinking. I don't know whether they think people are not paying attention to social media, but I think that the noise was much louder than they thought it was going to be. And so they have now pulled back from that course of action. Anyway, rather than do that, they have decided to throw, to me, this is them throwing Kate under the bus once again, because it's quite obvious that any right thinking person would look at this and say, what are you saying here? How can someone who is said to be working, first of all, you say she's taking cancer treatment, then you say she's working behind the scenes, but don't ask when she's coming back to work. This is quite embarrassing. This is quite embarrassing. But I think it's quite clear also that they want her name to remain in the news cycle so that Harry and Meghan's names don't dominate the news without some kind of rebuttal from them. And they can see that William is looking quite odd with his name alone being in the news. And they see how warm and approachable and nice Harry and Meghan are looking together. And I think with Kate being out of the way, they try to bring Rose Hanbury in as a replacement. I don't want to say replacement wife for the moment because all the rumors of the affairs are just that, rumors. Okay. Even though that a lot of people have are quite certain in what they're saying, well, none of them have come out in the public to claim each other. Like Rose hasn't claimed William, William hasn't claimed her. Neither have they put out any official statement stating that they are actually together. But what if William, knowing that he's looking weirder and weirder when it's his name alone in the headlines, in comparison to Harry and Meghan, who are in the spotlight together, and people warm to them because we people warm to them because they do engagement together, and Meghan's presence at Harry's engagements just make his engagement all the more interesting. What if? So now he's looking at it, and I think they tried to bring in Rose Hanbury to see what the reaction to that would be. Stupid as they are, they saw that the kind of attention that she was bringing in was the negative kind, and so they decided, screech, halt, let's not proceed with that course of action. Abort, abort, abort mission. I'm sure even those close to them were telling them how nonsensical their strategy was. And so they even had to have their minions in the media float the talking points that Kate is so valuable to the nation. Which Kate? Is it AI Kate? Is it the fake photo Kate? Is it the mumbling Kate? Which of these Kates are so valuable to the nation? Okay, because you've got Richard Palmer saying there's no return to public duties until she gets the all clear from her doctors, but the Princess of Wales is the driving force behind a new report urging firms to invest in child friendly policies that it says could unlock 45.5 billion a year for the UK economy. Gee whiz! None of the ministers in government need to do anything if Kate can do all of this from her sick bed. None of them need to do anything if she can do all of this from her sick bed. What is the point of having a cabinet? How much is the budget of UK economy? What is it? Again, embarrassing for the UK. Honestly, at this point, I would say we need Holy Ghost deliverance. Something needs to be done because we need help. We all need help. Somebody send help. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the quality of reporting that we currently have in the UK, right? This is the quality of reporting we have in the UK at the moment. Although they're doing their damnedest to keep Kate in the public eye, even if by name only, Kate's sudden disappearance reminds everyone how Charles forced Princess Diana to quit public life. And I do remember, right, before all of this, before the racism claims by Piers Morgans, because he was the one, everyone in the British media and the royal family have all accused Harry and Meghan of accusing them of racism, but everyone forgets that Harry never and Meghan never accused the royal family of racism. It was Piers Morgan who named who named Charles and Kate as the racists. Okay, so before all of this happened, William was making noises about not wanting Kate to accompany him on his royal engagements going forward because he said the British media only focused on her hair, her clothes, his bags, and he felt like his own mission got lost in all the rapturous admiration of Kate's hair extensions and her coat dresses, her never ending styles of coat dresses. So he was really pissed off about it, which is the reason why, to this day, to this very moment as I speak, I still don't believe any of the guff that they've put out in the public, not the cancer, not the stomach operation. I just feel personally, this is my personal opinion and I'm entitled to have one. I feel like this was a plan between Kate and William behind the scenes to try to grab the attention back from Harry and Meghan. Okay. When they saw that Harry and Meghan were getting a lot of attention because they were being so quiet. And then they said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And especially Kate. Kate must have been at her wits' end because she was being forced to, they were trying to make her into Meghan 2.0. She did it for 1 week and she said, I don't know how that woman does it. Because bloody hell, man, this is so much work. Bloody hell. So now we've got to Kate, then with her doing all that she was doing, that even irritated William more because he was like, Kate's taking all the attention. Okay, I'm going to do things by myself. Okay, he's tried it now and it's blown up in his face because every time I don't know why it seems like he just thinks of things on the fly and then they execute, and he never has a balance because usually people like William and Charles, they would have a trusted advisor, what the mafia call consigliere. I'm not Italian, so if I butchered that, I apologize, but they would have someone who is an experienced advisor who is able to have a 360 look at all that encompasses being royal. And then when he wants to do something, the person would be able to advise him on the best way to execute whatever his thoughts that afternoon was going to be. Okay. But it seems like he doesn't even have one of those. Maybe that's the person he wants to pay £25,000 to. He can't find someone who is ready and willing to take £25,000 for such an important job. And that is the reason why he keeps messing up. That is the absolute reason why he keeps messing up. Anyway, so this is why I said to you guys that I don't believe none of the stories. I don't believe none of them because the controversy remains as to what the real truth of the situation is. We keep getting conflicting reports, and I know that this is the National Enquirer, but just like a clock can be right twice a day, sometimes the National Enquirer does actually have scoops that nobody else does, but because it's the National Enquirer, nobody ever takes anything that they say as seriously as they should. But on here, they are reporting that Kate's cancer chemo crisis, hair falling out in clumps, battling nausea and exhaustion. William fears she could pass on. Is that a soft launch of what is to come, which is the passed on announcement? Nobody knows. But anyway, whatever the case may be, somehow in the midst of all of this, Kate is excited about projects that she's doing behind the scenes. Look, those people are so rude. They are so rude at the amount of um, condescension. They just believe that everybody is a fool. The lies they spew out at us, they don't even respect us enough to give us a good lie. They don't even respect us enough to be consistent in their lie. They just throw out any old thing, expecting people to just accept it. I don't know whether this has always been the case or I just came of age during the case of Harry and Meghan. But if this is the case, no wonder they call people sheep. No wonder they call people sheep. Anyway, speaking of the Middletons, Kate's brother, James Middleton, is said to be writing a book. I imagine that he needs the money because he and his family are in debt. And you guys remember this is an article for 2023 where his business was said to have gone bankrupt. So just like his mother's business, his business has gone tits up. But the thing is that no one is telling him, the thing is, nobody is telling him that he doesn't need to do anything until Kate gets better, and that it's an insult for him to be working while Kate is ill. Seems to me like they're still trying to impose spare like responsibilities and obligations on Harry and Meghan, despite the fact that they have stepped back from working as senior members of the royal family. Because what they're doing has nothing to do with the royals. But I have an announcement. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. You have to wait to the end of this video for me to know what that announcement is going to be. Anyway, so look at this article where the Mirror is saying Prince Harry and Meghan leave Kate Middleton deeply upset with new brand operation. Like, hello, your brother is launching his new book. Are you not upset about that? This is why I'm getting really, really upset with the media now, just because they're so rude. They're so rude. They don't even give us like a logical reason for whatever it is that they're doing. They just throw any rubbish out there. And the gullible sheep that we have in society are just swallowing it all up. Anyway, guys, if you're new here, welcome to Isabella Banks YouTube channel. I am not always this fired up, but I'm going to show you something else. All the things that I say I'm going to tell you and show you, I didn't actually plan, but let me write it down so I don't forget. um I but I'm going to be sharing this information with you because I believe that I monitor the news on a regular, and if I share some information with you, it will help you understand what you're looking at. Because I know that a lot of people have like a zillion things that they're doing on a daily, and you probably just pop in and out of the news stories and don't pay as much attention as those of us who follow literally each story that any of the news outlets decide to push out on a regular. Hello, my love, Sussex love. I've got two videos out. One is supposed to start by 5, and one is supposed to start by 6. So I think what you saw was the one that was going to start by 6 o'clock. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You have missed some gems that I have dropped already. Anyway, so let's continue. If you haven't already subscribed, go ahead, hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave a comment or two in the comment section. If you don't know what to say, just leave a heart emoji or something that reflects how you feel inside. If you have visited before and you haven't subscribed, let today be the day you decide to subscribe. What is that all about? Are you trying to be a lazy Katie? Go on, subscribe. It's fun over here. And for all of you who have been rocking with me from the beginning, thank you very much. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section and hit the like button. Yes. Hit the like button. All right, let's continue. So, guys, remember how I told you that the Nigeria trip success inspired the royal family to at least do some work? So, I'm sure, maybe perhaps by now, you might have heard that the royal family had a garden party. I think that was yesterday. And Prince William invited his cousins, Beatrice, Eugenie, Zara, and Peter Phillips, and they ended up having to attend this garden party to eat finger thin, wafer thin sandwiches under the pouring rain. Must have been cold as hell as well out there in the rain. But these people don't get as cold as someone like my I would do. So it's good, it's cool. But guys, did you notice something about this photograph? Uh, did you notice something? I will have a look at the comment section to see whether anybody will come up with something. So Idolina says Sway Sway is missing some drinks. Oh. Joy says, I think Kate is gone. Who? I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know. Success Love says, okay, you're talking to somebody else. Thank you very much, Idolina. Adrian Burrow says, the President of America giving President of Kenya a state dinner tonight. And all Charles and William think about is Harry. I wish Harry was on the guest list, right? They would absolutely combust. Ah. Anyway, so guys, if you going back to this photograph, okay, if you look at this photograph of William in the top hat, you will see that he's kind of got his sexy smoldering eye going on, uh, trying to remind us that he still got it. I totally think that he was feeling himself. And this was his I'm still sexy. I am still sexy. He was completely in his element. Don't forget, it's a garden party. He must have had his drinks nearby, his girls nearby. Everything was just working together, and it wasn't necessarily a very formal event. So everything was all good as far as William is concerned. Everything he liked was happening right there. It's also like Harry. Harry has got his I am feeling myself walk as well. That's when his bow leg becomes pronounced. He doesn't always have the bow leg is not always noticeable, but when he's feeling himself, you can see that, oh, this guy has got a little bit of a bow leg. And that's when you see him doing his struts. Wait, Sussex Love says no, he does not have it. He hasn't had it in quite some time. Just look at him though. He's trying to find it. If he doesn't, he thinks he's got it. He's trying to find it. Mm, mm. So we've been seeing the news articles implying that King Charles asked everyone to attend the garden party. I'm sure it wasn't just when Harry came into town. He must have asked them, they must be under an obligation to attend the garden parties whenever the garden parties are being organized, right? And so here we've got Eugenie and we've got Beatrice attending the garden party. Can you imagine attending the garden party, right? And then when you attend the garden party, you are sacrificed on the altar of Prince William's ego. Because it must be that it is the palace who was Briefing this story, Palace faces serious worry. Beatrice and Eugenie have gone to the dark side with Harry and Meghan. Hello? Are you saying to me that family members cannot agree without having to choose sides? So now you're saying that the entire family has to shun Harry just because he's in a disagreement with his father and brother. Oh, wow. Anyway, why am I sounding surprised? Why am I sounding surprised? Because when I saw that Harry was close with Eugenie, I think they did try to maintain the relationship, but it got a bit difficult. I think it got a bit difficult. And the thing is that the friend of my friend is my friend, but the friend of my enemy is my enemy. And since Eugenie is friends with William, Harry really should have seen Eugenie as his enemy from the beginning, just because the power, William was always going to be prone to exercising the power that the royal family have over Andrew. And Andrew will flex his power over his children, which ultimately, if a decision was going to be made about something important, Eugenie and Beatrice would always decide against Harry. Quite unfortunately. Rachel says, sexy look with his yellow teeth that makes. Kathy says, how many garden parties does that family need? Huh? Uh, Rachel, I second that emotion because I got the notion. But out of the two of them, you can really see that it's Princess Beatrice who is actually really pushing for an improvement of her status as an outsider. She is the one who pushed her father to do that disastrous interview that many years ago, and which he hasn't still recovered from, by the way. But yeah, she's always been the one. I think Eugenie herself does not really care. So this is evidence though that she has now been co-opted by the royal family, because she posted on her Instagram page that she's delighted to support her family. I think she tried to be in the middle, but she couldn't do it. the she tried to be in the middle of both of them, but she couldn't achieve that because the royal family would not let her. They're making her choose. If you're going to be friends with us, then you have to cut off your relationship with Harry. And that's quite unfortunate that it's actually the older ones who are bringing about this kind of childish narrative when it should be the older ones who should be navigating this situation a lot better. But there is something to be said for the way the royal women dress. Just look at this. This is Zara in her 1940s dress, and this is Beatrice as well, and that is Eugenie behind her. They even look a bit more modern. Zara looks like Mary Poppins over here. Mary Poppins, even with the Mary Poppins type umbrella. And I thought I would have fun with this one. When I was preparing for the video, that was the thought. You guys remember that song? I'm too sexy for this party. I'm too sexy by far. I'm a model, you know what I mean? So this is what I was thinking about when I was creating this video. And um yes, but he was feeling himself. He was feeling himself, and I could see that he was feeling himself. So I decided to create a slide for him. All feelings must be honored. William is too sexy for his top hat, too sexy for his umbrella, too sexy by far. Oh, dear me. Charles has control of the 88 millions that the other royals receive. Yeah, that's quite unfortunate that they are all living under such conditions. They haven't changed anything from the medieval age, it seems like. Guys, have you had a chance to look at the program from the garden party? There was so much to dissect from the garden party, and we're going to take a little bit at a time. So, we've looked at William feeling himself in that environment. The other thing is the schedule. So they have the timetable for the afternoon. The garden party timings are approximate. So they've got 3 p.m., the gates open. Then tea is served in the main tea tent until 5 p.m. The yeomen of the guard hold ground. Then the national anthem is played. Then they have tea again, tea again, tea again. Then the royal family uh, gentlemen at arms will then form lanes for the king and members of the royal family to move through the guests. So they are really treated like they are special amongst their own, almost like godlike. Um, so this is the reason why they seem and appear not to have be in touch with modern day or reality, because when you have yes men around you all the time, how do you touch base? How do you really know what people are thinking? How do you really know? You can't really, because everyone's scared for their jobs anyway. So let's move on to the next one. So this is another shot from the garden party. Can you see people lining up behind the barrier, and that it's only the royal family who are moving about freely? What does this remind you of? I wouldn't waste your time. Let me share the photo with you because we've got another video after this one. Okay. Ta-da! That reminds me of this photograph. And do you know what? While I was looking at this photograph, right, I just suddenly realized that despite the fact that we had people behind the barriers over here, Kate was shaking hands. Can you guys see William? It wasn't enough that the people were behind the barriers, he was also pushing people away. He was the barrier of the metal barrier wasn't enough. He was also like pushing people away from him, even though they couldn't reach him. Just being around that many black, brown people was too much for William. Anyway, so those were the first lot who rushed out to show that, yes, we're actually here. Harry and Meghan are not the only ones who know how to work. Okay. Then they had Sarah Ferguson out and about. Guess what? Out and about. Remember how uh, Sarah was drafted in to meet with the Prime Minister of the Bahamas? Imagine Sarah. What does she know? How much schooling did she do? How much foreign policy does she have experience with, apart from trying to make deals to get people audiences with the royal family? Is this not humiliating for the Prime Minister of the Bahamas? She says here it's an honor to meet with their excellencies, the Honorable Philip Davis, Prime Minister of the Bahamas, and the Honorable Gaston Brown, Prime Minister of Antigua, and Barbuda to discuss the plastic pollution crisis and how small island nations with their unique strengths and vulnerabilities can lead in sustainable initiatives towards a cleaner and plastic free future. I look forward to seeing our projects and ideas come to fruition. Imagine Sarah Ferguson. I don't even know if that one went to school at all. Meeting with the prime minister of a country. What has she got what like what has she got to contribute towards the conversation? You know? Well, what you have here is her looking engaged in the conversation, which is more than what I can say for William when he has to attend events. Okay. So let me look at your comments. Sussex Love says this is a waste of taxpayer money. This is just wrong. Um, if they can get rid of Diana, they can certainly get rid of Eugenie and have probably told her in so many words. Harry and Meghan escaped. Eugenie hasn't. Beatrice is fine with the cult. Absolutely. You have got it absolutely right. Great minds think alike. Thank you. Thank you, Idolina. And Rose Bush can feel him. But Sarah wasn't good enough to be invited to William's wedding. Well, you could say that that was years ago and that Sarah Ferguson has now paid enough penance. And so she has been welcomed into the fold. She has been welcomed into the fold. Right? 1960 says, why is Fergie going there? She's not a working royal. Right. But it's also part of the slim down monarchy, right? Right? Sarah's still trying to get some money. Right. The question is, you see all this cancer talk? It started with it started with Sarah. Maybe she was the one who gave them that idea in the first place. Idolina said it rained on their parade. That is so apt. That is so apt. She's a working royal now. She's getting well paid to keep her mouth shut. So embarrassing. So embarrassing for her. Exactly. So embarrassing for the royal family as well because they completely trashed her and said that she wasn't worth anything. Okay, so how come all of a sudden she is meeting with the whole, like a whole prime minister of a country? My question is, what would she have had to add to that conversation? What would she have had to add to that conversation? Absolutely freaking nothing. I think someone gave me thank you, Roslyn, for the super chat or super sticker. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate you as well. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much. Okay, so yeah, this is what I was having fun with. You see that they were forced to come back, and even every move they have made pales in comparison to whatever Harry and Meghan were able to achieve when they went to Nigeria. But guess what? They came out rushing. They came out rushing like like dogs that smelt dogs who eat bloody food smelling blood. They came out like people who had been pushed out of their houses, like, go, go. You better get out there. You better get out there. Rebecca Arthur says Sarah is not embarrassed. She was so happy to be in that family. I can't imagine why. Because they treated her so badly. Especially, I remember being like younger and seeing how badly the media treated her when she was a young bride, the normal and natural mistakes that anyone would make, which actually made it clear at that time that they didn't have anyone who trained the new wives or gave the new wives etiquette lessons and all the things that they needed to perform their royal to the best of their ability. They just let them come in and make a fool out of themselves and then allow the media to turn the women into mincemeat. And it's funny that that was allowed, given that the head of state, the head of the royal family at the time, was Queen Elizabeth II. So how come she never made any provision for these women, knowing, I mean, the time for inbred marriages had long passed on. So it's not like they could keep on marrying each other. So if they're going to marry somebody in, then obviously they needed a HR department that would teach people the kind of etiquette which would allow them to be comfortable at state dinners, state visits, how to dress, how to speak, and how to just make women and men comfortable around them. But there was nothing like that in place. So, for as far as Fergie was concerned, the kind she came into the family with a lot of enthusiasm, and you could see her gradually just wilt the same way Megan did. She had the same kind, not the same kind in terms of bringing something special to the table, but she certainly came in with a lot of brightness. She was very smiley, she was very happy, she was in love with Andrew, and I think Andrew was scolded for loving her too much. This is just my belief, watching their body language from afar. You know, I'm also a body language expert. I'm also a body language expert. So, um, yes, I did notice that Sarah Ferguson wilted the same way Megan did because they piled on her so much that she literally had no other choice but to leave the same way they were trying to force Megan out. So this behavior of the media to the royal family's women is not at all new, but with Megan, it was like 10x, and Megan was literally isolated here in the UK with not having any family around her. So it made it all the more worse. And being an ethnic minority as well, she didn't have a lot of power to push back on literally anything. So if Megan hadn't left, they would have broken her. No wonder she was feeling as bad as that. Uh, Rebecca Arthur says her father was a host trainer for the royal family. So imagine marrying into that family. Every English girl's dream. Really? I did not know that. I learned something new every day. Okay, guys. So this is the end of the first video. I said I was going to share some news with you. Okay, so the first thing is I have decided. Are you ready? That I am not going to be listening or paying attention to anything Angela Levin says going forward. I would no longer be discussing or talking about Angela Levin. Why? Because I believe that our faves have outgrown many toxic media outlets like GB News, and GB News have overplayed their hand, and so their impact is no longer felt. They are now seen as a mad people's news outlet. So there's no need to pay attention to whatever they say. Even if they say the UK is burning and it's true, I will no longer be paying attention to the GB News any further, not even to reference them for anything. So if you see anything about GB News and you're wondering why I'm not talking about Them, no matter how outrageous the headline is, I'm not going to be paying attention to GB News any further. GB News is the bottom of the barrel. We have upgraded. We have upgraded. GB News is no longer an outlet that anyone pays attention to. Any reasonable thinking person pays attention to anyway. So so that's it, done. I am done. We have outgrown them now. We have superseded them. So there is no need to. I've just been looking at the impact of their headlines, and I can see that their news has no impact whatsoever on what is going on in the uh, current state of affairs. So there's no need to pay attention to them. That's the first thing. Okay, so looking at my storyboard, so remember that this video showed how Harry and Meghan's trip, right, to Nigeria caused the royal family to come out to start working. When I'm doing the stories for my videos, I usually use a whiteboard to organize the news clippings that I get in order to see what exactly is going on. And the reason I will show this to you is for other people who are content creators as well, just also for you to see that the stories are not discussed randomly. J Matt says, thank you. Cut all the crazies out. We give them too much attention. No, we're going to take it a little bit at a time because we are graduating out of the craziness little by little. And these people, they are doing themselves, the more they continue to obsessively report negatively about Harry and Meghan, the more they lose their credibility. So we still pay attention to those who maintain any kind of credibility just to assess the amount of impact their reporting has on Harry and Meghan's business. But guess what? I'm fully expecting that Harry and Meghan are going to do what I think that they're going to do, which is to continue to do their Invictus tours. Right now, they're probably in recovery because that Nigerian tour, even though it was 72 hours, it was a lot. They did a lot of engagements while they were in Nigeria. So I'm sure that they are recovering from it, catching up with the kids, doing the admin work for the trip and for their future projects. But preparing for the next step. And the royal family have no idea what their next step is going to be. So that is turning them green. So guess what? They are doing everything that they can to warn Harry and Meghan to stop working. Can't you just be lazy like us? Can't you just be lazy like us? Anyway, so this is the end of the first video. I will see you back in my second video in about 10 minutes. So that's all I have for this one. And we can see that Prince Harry and Meghan's Nigerian visit has the girls running around like headless chickens, doing more work in 1 week than we've seen them do since the year began. And with that, I'm going to sign out. And this is Wheezy signing out. See you in the next one. Ciao, ciao. I'll see you in about 10 minutes. So don't go too far. I'll see you in about 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, my loves. See you. Cookies and Cream says, please stay safe. Pray, don't peg, and always hydrate. Love it. See you soon.